So this is the part of the story that I like to call growth. Thing about growth is it's not overnight. It's a gradual process. And making the decisions that I did to say I want to change myself, I want to better myself as a person, still took time. You got to understand that I'm still in a mindset of anger, trying to understand that anger, trying to identify why do I react to things the way that I do. So I started reading. Started with fantasy books that led me into nonfiction books, reading things like The Time Machine, Don Quixote, and then I started reading philosophy. And I got introduced to philosophy through a philosopher by the name of Rene Descartes, and studied his motto of cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. That was a very profound one for me, and that started like a hunger. And I became a voracious reader. I was reading 4 books a week, minimum of 3, and just trying to teach myself as much as I could. Came up with this idea that, hey, I want to learn what the original language was. Closest I could trace it back was Latin. So I want to learn Latin. Couldn't get books, couldn't get access. So that led me to Spanish. Started working with guys in there. I had some Puerto Rican guys that I knew that were willing to help teach me Spanish. So that became my process. And that was kind of my coping mechanism, I think, for the remainder of my time in AdSeg, was to say, I'm going to use this time to study, to learn as much as I could. And I feel like it was beneficial. A lot of people look at my time and I tell them I spent 10 years in AdSeg and it's a shame and they should never do someone like that. And I agree. 10 years in AdSeg is way too long. You shouldn't subject a person from being isolated from physical activity, physical interaction with people. But for me, it actually turned out to be a benefit. The fact that it allowed me the time to sit down, to do self-reflection, and then to start acting on those. Because once you get access to other things, starts drawing your attention, starts drawing your focus. So to have all of that time to look at myself was a great benefit. I saw some guys who went into AdSeg and literally went crazy because when they looked in the mirror, they didn't like what they saw and they couldn't be left alone with themselves. So that was my 10-year period of basic isolation, of learning, of growing. Then came the time when I finally got my opportunity that I had been asking for and released to general population.